And thank you very much here for joining us here at Revisiting the Mania. My name is Carlos.
And I'm Maria.
We apologize for the delay. Fortunately, we ran into some technical issues. So if you managed to stick around, we greatly appreciate it. If not, then hopefully you are able to catch us when we upload this
on
YouTube later on today, or the audio version that I should be able to release tomorrow on all of the podcast networks, Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, and things like that. So today we are revisiting WrestleMania 8.
Ocho,
the Ocho of WrestleManias. This is one that is built to have a double main event.
Ooh.
Primarily, I am more intrigued with the tagline of the Macho Flair affair because we get Randy Macho Man Savage, who by some miracle is reinstated after he had a career-ending match at WrestleMania 7, to face Ric Flair. Now, Ric Flair managed to win the title at the Royal Rumble. The title ends up being vacated here, and then they have a Rumble. An over-the-top Battle Royal Rumble at the Royal Rumble to determine who will win the title.
We get to see a friendship torn apart.
Yes, that is the one friendship that is being currently portrayed here from Sid Justice.
Right.
And making his WrestleMania debut, and the Immortal. Now Hulk Hogan is being known as the Immortal Hulk Hogan.
So the year is April 5th, 1992.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear that there's over 62,000 people in attendance.
Mm-hmm.
The venue is Hoosier Dome.
The Hoosier Dome down in Indianapolis, yes.
Yes. So take us
there. I mean, well, we do have some little bit of, I guess, storyline reconciliation, or, trying to catch you up on what happened because we don't have time to watch what's in between.
Okay.
So besides the Savage coming back, and, at this point he's already had his, it's called the kayfabe marriage.
Okay.
Because technically in the storyline, the wrestlers, they never say that Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth are married.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So I haven't heard that yet. Nobody in the audience knows that they're really husband and wife out of the eyes of the wrestling audience. So they need to have a wedding on TV, and they do it at SummerSlam of that following year of 1991. Yeah.
Can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, so another thing that happens is Virgil continues to feud with Ted DiBiase.
$1 million man.
The multi-million dollar
man because of his hair. Yes. His hair is so awesome.
Yeah.
I've monikered him the $2 million man.
Yeah. So this continues pretty much until November of that year, where Virgil actually beats the $1 million man. He gets his $1 million belt for beating the $1 million man.
I mean, and that's a really nice belt.
Yeah, I hear it's worth $1 million. But let's continue on here. He actually manages to win his belt back from Virgil at a Saturday night's main event because of the interference of the Repo Man. And the Repo Man is a guy that we do see here, but we have seen him here before. He is formerly from the Tag Team Demolition, and he is Smash.
Oh.
Maybe I should have held that on and see if you would have been able to recognize it.
Would I have been able to recognize it? I don't know. So thanks for filling me in.
Okay. And the last thing that we need to fill you in here before we go into breaking down the matches, is as Doyle had pointed out, this is the last tag team match that we had with the Hart Foundation, because they do break off and they both go off and do their own singles competition careers on their own. Brett's is more successful than Jim's. And at this time, Bret Hart manages to actually get the Intercontinental Tag Team Championship from Mr. Perfect later that year,
Mm-hmm.
but he does lose it as we see here because he has a match here.
Wow.
So anything else I don't have to go into because we will be as far as catching you up with the storylines that have progressed from 7 to 8.
Well, I mean, we're talking 1992, right? So
Mm-hmm.
just a couple of tidbits from 1992 for y'all that are in Chicago. Downtown Chicago actually flooded. It took 3 days to repair a breach and clear flooding in downtown Chicago in the Loop District.
Mm-hmm.
And it cost the city about $1.95 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Billion dollars.
Billion. And what else?
The 25th Olympic Games opened in Barcelona. Bill Clinton was elected as the 42nd U.S. president. And your fave, Elvis Presley, America voted for either a young or an old Elvis. Also,
And who won? Because
um,
I'm a fan of the old Elvis.
I I'm a fan of young Elvis. Is
Okay.
that peanut butter and
Yeah, it's the peanut butter and banana sandwich
Elvis?
Elvis. Yeah.
But I'll find out and then I'll follow up in the comments.
Okay.
Yeah, so we get entertained. I mean, the national anthem is,
Yes, it's no longer America the Beautiful. We actually have Reba McEntire singing the Star Spangled Banner here.
and I thought she did an awesome job. She sang it beautifully, so that was really cool.
Okay. Anything else?
I mean, as far as do we want to talk about commentators yet, or do we want to get into?
I mean, the commentators still are the team of Gorilla Monsoon
Yep.
and Bobby the Brain.
Yeah, Bobby the
We
Brain.
still have Mean Gene and Sean Mooney doing the backstage interviews.
Right.
So, is there anything in particular you want to address?
No, just that it's still Gorilla and Bobby Heenan.
Right.
My least favorite. So, yep, that's it.
Okay. So, let's get into it. The first match we have here is Shawn Michaels with Sensational Sherry.
Yes.
Now, apparently, at this time, the Rockers have broken up.
Okay.
So let me fill you in here. So what happens is they have a title match.
Okay.
And I believe Shawn blames the loss in story kayfabe terms on Marty Jannetty.
Right.
He storms off and walks off on Marty Jannetty at one point.
Okay.
And they end up having a feud.
Right.
They go, it all starts from what's called the barbershop interview. Brutus the Barber has his own talk show.
Wait, does this have anything to do with the barbershop that we see during Wrestlemania?
We see another vignette or like a recap where the barbershop gets destroyed by Sid Justice. But it's the same barbershop.
Wow.
But what happens is Brutus the Barber is trying to play peacekeeper.
Okay.
And it looks like they're going to reconcile. The Rockers are going to get back together. But actually, that does not happen. What happens is Shawn starts beating up Marty Jannetty.
Wow.
And he actually throws Marty Jannetty through that glass that the barber has.
Okay.
And they continue to have matches. And of course, Shawn always wins.
So is that the first time that glass in the barbershop is broken?
I believe so. And I think it might be the only time. But like I said, most of those vignettes, it's those tape promos, things like that. I really didn't pay too much attention to it.
Well, I feel like this is my second favorite barbershop. The first favorite barbershop is the movie.
So. Oh, nice. Okay. So this match between Shawn and the El Matador now, Tito Santana. No longer just Tito Santana. Yes. He's known as El Matador. Tito Santana. This match goes for 18 minutes and 38 seconds.
That explains the outfit.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, we hear some dicey comments from Bobby Heenan, so I was surprised. We heard him calling him, I think, like a jalapeno or a flying burrito, which was like super crazy and rude. But that's one of a first of many of some crazy comments that we heard during this WrestleMania, Wrestlemania 8.
Bobby did not hold anything back.
No, he didn't. So talk about a shock value there. I was super surprised. So I mean, Shawn Michaels looks great. And I'm a fan of Shawn Michaels, but I'm rooting for Tito.
Okay, he's still rooting for Tito here. Okay. What did you think about Shawn Michaels' music?
I thought the music was pretty cool. So, and also Shawn Michaels has a quote that says he's too sexy for this crowd.
Yeah.
And he's right. I love his intro, so I'm glad you talked about that.
Good, because I think Sherry's the one that actually sings the vocals on that song.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What?
It's funny because later on there's a wrestler called Kurt Angle.
Okay.
And Kurt Angle does the whole Shawn Michaels song. And he actually has Sherry come back to sing that part.
No way.
And he sings like, I'm good. I like to wrestle. Like things like that. I don't know what the actual lyrics are. I might have butchered that, but Kurt Angle did a great rendition of that.
That sounds so good. I would definitely watch that.
Yeah, we'll make sure I show it to you later.
But the sensational Sherry, she was doing an awesome job in this match. She was really selling it. She was pretty cool. I had no idea, like you said, that she's saying the lyrics to the song, and Sherry got around as a valet.
Oh yeah, and obviously Vince trusted her enough,
right,
to put her with the next up and coming talent. Like we have Sherry attached to Macho King.
Okay,
I'm gonna say King in case Stoll is watching because that's Macho's heel persona, and he kept correcting me on it. So the Macho King had sensational Queen Sherry with him, and he no longer needed her because he's now reconciled with Miss Elizabeth.
That's true.
So, she needed to be, put and groom the next up and coming champion, which is Shawn Michaels later on along the line, but he still got to make that journey through this.
So who are you rooting for?
At this point, I think I would have been rooting for Shawn.
For Shawn?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it was at the point, like if it was just like his little like attitude, like or something. He had that certain something. So, they always say.
Do they say it's a je ne sais quoi?
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's what the French say, that a certain je ne sais quoi someone has to have. So I don't know what he had, but I was already a fan of it. So, and this is me maybe like, I think at 11 or 10 years old.
I understand. So, I mean, I get it. When I keep on thinking, if I'm a kid watching this is super awesome, super cool. So, I mean, while I'm watching this as like me, fresh eyes, seeing them as new wrestlers to me,
right.
I also am putting myself in like, little Marina's shoes and what would I think about it. So I would think that's all super cool. Tito does awesome. He has like a flying forearm. You get a forearm and another forearm. It's a really solid match.
Yeah. There's lots of good spots here. There's even a spot where Shawn actually starts using his what ends up being his finisher.
Okay.
Which is called Sweet Chin Music. And right now they don't really call it Sweet Chin Music, but it's like a little super kick. Okay. There's a moment where Tito tries to rally and then Shawn hits him with that super kick. And I thought it was it because I don't remember this match from like remembering where I was before watching this.
Right.
And I was like, oh, this is it. But no, Tito kicks out. So it wasn't it. And, actually Tito hits like 2 flying forearms here. And still isn't going over. So that Shawn has to be something special in Vince's eyes,
right,
for him to actually put Shawn Michaels over. After Tito, this is his 8th WrestleMania in a row that he's been here.
You're right.
And he had to pull him over there. So Maria, you were starting to root for Shawn here.
Yes.
So were you happy with the way the match ended? That it was just like,
no, I mean, much to my chagrin, Shawn Michaels wins. I'm not too happy with this win. But I still like, for the audience, do yourself a favor and watch this match.
Okay. So you say it's your favorite match already?
This match?
Because I don't remember you having a favorite match as far as like the first match is.
Well, I guess I'll surprise everybody, you included, and the audience watching that yes, match 1 was one of
Wow.
my favorite.
Already, Shawn Michaels. I guess that answers what we had in the banner. Shawn Michaels' first WrestleMania solo match. Was it good? Okay.
Yes.
My wife says that it was fantastic.
Yes.
And that you must do yourself a favor and watch this match.
Yes. Like you said, do yourself a favor, watch this match. It's electric. And the audience loved it. And I love Tito's pink scrunchie that he's wearing.
Oh, for his ponytail, because he needs to get his hair out of his face when he's killing those bulls.
I was gonna say kudos to the scrunchie because it was hanging on throughout this 18 minutes and 30-second match. So yeah, you definitely have to watch this.
That scrunchie must be American made.
So that takes us to match
number 2.
Thoughts?
Yes, don't confuse yourself counting those dark matches again.
I do. I like to count them, and then I start getting mixed up.
So the next match we have is The Undertaker and company with Paul Bearer.
Awesome name.
Versus Jake the Snake Roberts. Oh, before we get into that.
Yes.
Legion of Doom was supposed to be in this match into WrestleMania.
Okay.
But Hawk, I believe, suffered an injury.
Right.
So I guess Vince had made a deal to make it up to them.
Okay.
So he ended up giving them some promo time. So that's why we have the Legion of Doom over here cutting like a 5-minute promo.
Okay.
On
that explains why that promo was that long then.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have The Undertaker, like you said, super cool.
Yeah.
Paul Bearer.
Yeah, well, I guess you can call Paul. I've never heard anyone call Paul Bearer super cool.
Well, I just want to say the name.
But he is super pale, just like The Undertaker's super pale. So,
I mean, like the name is cool, like Paul Bearer. That's pretty cool.
That's when I think creative had a lot of great ideas, like because it's like a play off, like the guys who carry the casket of Paul Bearer,
Yes.
And they went with the gimmick, so it was pretty good in my eyes.
I mean, we get Jake.
So we get that,
Roberts.
we get that little kind of like video building up where it's kind of like Jake the Snake only I guess was just trying to intimidate the Undertaker.
Yes.
So he gets Undertaker's hand smashed onto his I guess casket, and then Jake the Snake is just beating up Paul Bearer in front of the Undertaker, and the Undertaker can't do anything about it because his hand is stuck for some reason on the casket, and he can't get his hand out.
Right.
I'm not sure. I've never closed a casket myself personally. I guess maybe when I have attended funerals, that's probably why you don't want to close a casket, because you only close it once.
Right.
But I think that's the only thing I can think of is why that happened.
So
but
this match is a decent length of time. I mean,
6 minutes 36 seconds.
And so who are you rooting for?
I think on this one I was rooting.
I feel like you're a fan of the Snake, so I'm curious.
I think on this one, if I'm trying to remember where my young mind would have been, it probably would have been with Jake the Snake.
Okay.
Yeah, you are correct. Because nobody knew who, what the Undertaker would actually like came from, or we were all buying it in that young age, that the Undertaker came from Death Valley, and that no one could match up. Oh, we have our first comment here. Okay, from our new guy, the Rookie Network, puts on here on our YouTube live. This was the only meaningful feud Jake the Snake ever had. You know what? I would say that it is not the only meaningful feud that Jake the Snake had.
Oh, I'm so
curious. I would have to disagree here. But thank you, Rookie Network, for chiming in here. We always like to, answer any questions or comments from our live views.
Yeah.
If you manage to catch it, we do it on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live.
Well, I'm so curious. I mean, what would be another meaningful feud with Jake the Snake that you
that I enjoyed? I enjoyed, like I said, the feud that we had last WrestleMania 6, because I was a fan of that match of the Macho Martel,
Mm-hmm.
and Jake the Snake, and they had the blindfold match. That was
that blindfold
it was
match. I
very
know that is one of your
it
favorite
was very
matches
entertaining.
of WrestleMania 7.
Yeah, so it was a very entertaining match for me.
Okay, little Carlos loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it even
You love
more.
it even more now?
Yeah,
Okay.
because you got to see the little tidbits. You got to see that Jake showed his hand. Sorry for people who are listening on audio. I put up my hand and things like that. But it as much as people probably don't enjoy that match, I enjoyed it just because there was a certain I guess belief that you needed to have that they couldn't see out of it.
Right.
And Rick Martel did a great job and playing kind of dumb of knowing where Jake would be.
Right.
And Jake did, which some people don't do. They actually get that audience participation.
Right.
And he would point and be like, "Where is he? Where is he? Where is he?"
Okay.
So I mean, I think that's what that match is more of a standout to me than others.
Well, I know that I'm rooting for Undertaker under this
Oh, you're rooting for
one.
the Undertaker.
I
Okay.
mean, he looks super cool.
Uh-huh.
This wrestling match was another solid match for me. I can't say that it was my favorite. Was it a favorite for you?
No, this was not my favorite match. I can't say that it was.
Okay.
Just because there are areas or instances here where it seems like Jake the Snake is supposed to be like putting Undertaker over.
Okay.
And they're kind of like they're not gelling. And it's like either Jake doesn't want to put him over,
right,
or they just haven't worked enough. Okay. And it looks off. So but this match does go 6 minutes 36 seconds.
Right.
We get the Undertaker doing what the Undertaker does. He does his flying clothesline.
Okay.
Which is, for a guy that's that big and tall to be able to do a flying clothesline at that time, it was pretty like, wow. I mean, for me, and even now, because you don't see that many people of his stature.
He is a tall gentleman.
Doing those type of moves.
He is a wrestler of a certain height. You are correct.
Thank you. If anything, I do like to make sure that I get some type of things correct here. So I guess you were happy with the way this match finished, because Jake is pretty much actually does the job at the end and does take a tombstone pile driver and a 1-2-3 pin and win for the Undertaker, and he's already started his WrestleMania career at 2-0.
Wow. So for those watching, for those listening, would you recommend that they watch this one?
No. No, it's like it's not one of those matches where I feel that defines the Undertaker.
Okay. Like
if you're looking back at matches through the Undertaker's career here, this is 1992. So he debuted like in late 90.
Okay.
I mean, and then we're talking about him now, so he's had like 30 plus years of wrestling. I wouldn't say that this would be one of those.
Like, you have to watch.
Yeah, if for you to enjoy the Undertaker's 30 plus illustrious career, there's other matches you can watch.
Okay, well, with that said, I guess that takes us to match 3.
Yeah, and this was one of those things where I feel it was. I haven't seen one of these, but they have one of these backstage promo interviews between the actual competitors, like face to face. So you had Bret Hart there and Rowdy.
These backstage promos were getting wild.
And I think that's just the trade-off that we had. Vince is like, well, we can't have too many matches.
Right.
So how do I fill this time? I need to make this like three hours long. It's WrestleMania.
Okay, so we have
So
Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper.
Yeah, and this match goes 18 minutes and 51 seconds.
A singles match for the WWF
Continental
Intercontinental
Championship.
Championship.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Okay, I'll get you one from the fridge.
Don't run off right now.
Okay, I'll wait.
Okay. So, Maria,
Yeah.
you're a fan of Roddy Piper?
Yes.
And you're a fan of Bret Hart.
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't know if anyone's listening or if you plan on watching this match. Bobby Heenan, commentator, says 2 ugly people looking at each other. And that just cracked me up because that was just so silly when they were staring at each other. I enjoy watching Roddy wrestle, but I'm rooting for Bret this match. So I don't know if that's surprising to you. He has my heart in this match. This is a solid match. It was a little slow in the beginning, but I mean, they came back with a vengeance towards the end.
Right, they sure did.
Yep.
So, this is match has a lot of things here because I believe, if I remember correctly, that Roddy was actually able to train in the Hart Dungeon. That Bret Hart's father trained a lot of wrestlers and to start a professional wrestling career.
Okay.
So these guys are very familiar with themselves, not only professionally but personally. And I actually see this as a passing of the torch. Roddy Piper's been doing this for a while.
Right.
And Bret is already Intercontinental Champion before, and now he's gonna be an Intercontinental Champion again. Spoiler alert for those people. But he does end up winning this match here after he reverses a sleeper hold that Roddy Piper has on him, and does one of those kind of like upside down. I'm not flip kind of to get hit Roddy Piper's shoulders on the mat, and he gets the pin and the win.
Right. I mean, Roddy's hair looks great. Vibrant.
Oh yeah, right.
It was like vibrant, flying through the wind with him during this match.
His nice feathered hair.
I was like, what is this? Can I get hair like that? And then
yeah, I'm still waiting for my hair like that. But I don't think it's ever gonna happen.
Me either. I mean, Hart's bleeding. Those moves by Bret at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, whoops, because we see a suplex, a neck breaker, we see back breakers, and Roddy's blocking his wrestling boot. But they're executing like move after move.
Yeah.
So this is pretty cool.
Yeah, and this is one of my favorite matches.
Yeah.
Not only because of the storytelling at the beginning where they're going back and forth, and Bret is pretty much getting the best of Roddy Piper to begin the match, and eventually Roddy gets tired and he spits at his direction. I don't know if he actually makes it because they are a few distance away.
Right.
But
I mean, also we see Roddy toss Bret into the ref, and that's 250 pounds coming at that ref. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then we get Bret Hart down on his luck, and Roddy Piper wants to finish this match, and he goes for the bell. And he actually has a moment of weakness, I guess you could say, because in his character, more than likely, before you would see that Roddy would probably have no problem with cheating and actually, taking a shortcut and actually using the bell, but he doesn't. He listens to the crowd, he puts the bell, and then that's how he ends up losing. And but the only thing I didn't like here, because I didn't feel like it was warranted, was the blood. Besides that, I don't think the blood added anything to it.
Okay.
And it came at a weird time where just Roddy just gives him like one punch. It's not like he's been working his face.
Right.
He just strikes Bret, and then Bret's down, and you can see that he's starting to do that little picking at the blade at the top of his forehead.
You're like, it's getting bleedy, but for no reason.
Yeah, to me, I feel like it didn't add anything.
So Bret Hart wins, and I'm here for it. And we have a new Intercontinental Champion.
Yes.
Are you happy with that win?
Yes, I am.
Me too. Yeah, I thought that was pretty awesome. So would you recommend for those
Yes,
listening and watching?
yes. If you are a fan of Roddy Piper or Bret Hart, or just want to see a good match, and for some reason you're scrolling down,
Not doom scrolling.
not doom scrolling, but you're like, what do I watch? I have Peacock. If you decide to watch WrestleMania 8, this is one of the matches we recommend.
Or look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, but we don't endorse that. We want you to go. But yeah, and we move on here, and we get an appearance by the Family Feud guy,
Lex. Oh,
Ray Combs. Let's play the feud. I remember watching this guy.
I do too.
Yeah, he was fun, and he had some very good quips in here with these guys.
Tell us some of those quips.
Oh, I can't really remember, but
I was
know
gonna
that
say not to be confused with the quips that we use for toothbrushes.
Yeah,
Because we use those.
yeah. But yeah, he was just roasting all the people based on their appearance, or just how their outfits looked and things like
You're
that.
right. He did. He did do a really good job.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Rest in peace, Ray Combs, because I don't know what type of demons he had, but unfortunately
he passed away.
Oh, he took his life. So.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Wow. I was gonna ask. So we see my first introduction to Lex Luger. Is that right? We see a promo with Lex Luger. He's wearing a tank. I'm looking at his shirt, and
I
I'm
believe
like,
you're talking about.
Was it him?
Yeah, it was Lex Luger. Yes, sorry.
Okay, so I'm seeing this cool shirt that he's wearing, and I'm like, this shirt, this guy is such a beast. He's huge. This has to be custom made. What do you think? Did you see that?
Is his shirt custom made?
Yeah, I'm like, this guy has like a huge neck, just like his shoulders. He's just a huge guy. And sorry to take us out of focus. I'm so excited about it. But Gorilla says he found somebody more conceited than Bobby Heenan.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not really a fan of Lex Luger just because of, like, I don't think he, to me, was very entertaining.
Oh.
And then I'm very upset with the things that he does personally that end up impacting other wrestlers. So that's I guess my hang up. But if you enjoyed him, I mean, don't let me influence you. That's the whole point of this.
That's my first introduction to him. So that's me meeting him first time, just taking a look at how huge he is. So I guess we'll see more of his wrestling to come.
Yeah, because did you notice the shirt he was wearing?
I did.
It said WBF. Now, for people that don't know, the WBF was the World Bodybuilding Federation. Wow. What ends up happening is Vince decides to buy a bodybuilding competition.
What?
It only lasts for like 2 to 3 years. I think this is like the last year that it's in, like 1992, before it ends up folding in. Okay. And that's where you get Lex Luger from. That's what the WBF stands for.
Wow. I'm so intrigued. Very curious. I'm a fan of hearing about that stuff only because of Arnold. So, and then his history and his trajectory of bodybuilding, which is like super cool, super awesome. And a big fan of that guy. So that takes us to match 4, numero 4.
Yeah, Big Boss Man, Virgil, Sergeant Slaughter, back on the side of good, Jim Duggan, versus the Nasty Boys, Brian Knobbs and Jerry Sags, the Repo Man, who I alluded to earlier, and the Mountie, and of course they have the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, over there, with his megaphone and doing his managerial duties.
Okay, so this is an 8-man tag team match. They clock in at 6 minutes. 6 minutes and 33 seconds.
Yes.
What did you think about this? Because sometimes these get a little messy for me.
So. Yeah, you could tell they do a good job in the beginning of clearing out the ring.
Okay.
When you have matches like this, you kind of want to start off like with either 2 people, obviously, because it's a tag match, 1-on-1. But you try to find like other things for the other people to do. So you start off with a melee.
Right.
So one guy goes here, one guy goes there, and then the other guys are recovering on the side.
I'm here for a melee. That reminds me of our tour of Riot Fest over the past 3 days last weekend. So
Right. So this this match was okay. It does what it pretty much is meant to do. It's just filler.
that's true.
So I mean, I think maybe they needed something to do for these guys.
Right.
But they didn't have anything going on storyline wise
Okay.
besides having to join forces and beat up the Nasty Boys and the Mountie.
So I'm rooting for Sarge. Sarge gave a stomping to one of the nasty
Oh yeah.
nasty boys. One of the nasty boys does a sloppy move on Virgil, I thought. So like you said, I guess this was filler, and I was very curious because I'm like, what's up with that mask? That was just
I guess something ended up happening to Virgil's face.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this looks something like a medical mask. So I was like confused and also concerned.
Yeah.
Okay. So would we recommend to those listening or watching to watch this one?
I mean, if you have 6 minutes and 33 seconds to spare and you're a fan of
Sergeant Slaughter, Virgil, or
the
Nasty Boys?
Yeah, or the Nasty Boys, or maybe even the Repo Man. Maybe you're a undercover demolition fan and you wanted to see what Smash was up to.
Or like, sure, watch it. You let us know what you think about it. We thought it was okay.
Yeah, it just does what it's supposed to do. These guys had nothing going, and Vince probably promised them a slot in WrestleMania, and he's like, well, what if we do this 4-man tag or 8-man match?
I too can also participate in WrestleMania. I don't know quite what I would do, but so does that take us to match?
Yeah, it takes us to the main event or the co-main event. We have match 5 of 9. So we're halfway done. Or more than half. We have the Macho Man Randy Savage coming out of exile. He was doing commentary briefly in the booth and somehow managed to get his contract back to become an active wrestler once again. Versus Rick Nature Boy Flair. This is Ric Flair's WrestleMania debut.
You mean Ric Flair?
Well, Flair? I mean, if you want to give out his government name, yes. But Richard Flair is here.
With Mr. Perfect. Yeah. Don't forget.
And 43-year-old Ric Flair.
Wow. So this is a singles match for the WWF Championship. And like you said, 25 minutes and 4 seconds.
Yeah. And I think that it is
an appropriate amount of time.
It doesn't seem too long. It doesn't have any of those like, oh my god, he's rolling out the ring again. The issues that I have, or things like that. Or it does have some rest holds, sorry. But it's not for too long.
Yeah.
I think the longest one they have is when they Rick puts him in a figure 4.
Yeah.
And that was like for 3 minutes. But
so I mean, this is my first introduction to Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And you have a t-shirt with him on it. So I'm excited to see this match.
Good. And what did you think about this? Is like, I mean, you have seen Ric Flair.
Yes.
In the modern time.
Current time
that he is. I think which would be like 60 and 70s when you probably saw him.
Right.
So now you're seeing early 40s Ric Flair.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. And like you said, this is like the co-main event. I wish this was the main event because this match was awesome.
Definitely was.
I mean, I enjoyed every bit of this match. Mr. Perfect has his Mr. Perfect hair. Macho Man looked like an Oscar. He's gleaming in gold with a cowboy hat. He looks dazzling, and he looks like New Year's Eve to me. I mean,
like one of those horn blowers or what?
Yeah, just like the optics were pretty impressive. So, I mean, let alone the wrestling. What about you?
Yeah, I enjoyed all of it here. This had this whole background storyline where Ric Flair had been making inappropriate moves. Miss Elizabeth, Macho Man's wife,
Mhm.
and wrestling wife.
Right.
So they had to continue that storyline. Macho Man has to get his revenge on him for not only making the moves on his wife,
Right.
but also saying that he has pictures
Oh,
of Miss Elizabeth.
1992?
The
Hard copy photos.
centerfold worthy pictures,
Wow.
and he was gonna post them or show them there at Wrestlemania
Mm.
to humiliate the Macho Man. So
Well,
I
not
mean, this had great psychology, and this is one where um, Ric Flair does bleed.
yes, he gets
So
very bleedy. Like everybody gets very bleedy from Ric Flair.
yeah. So on this one, this is one that I feel was warranted to happen because this actually had that I guess would have been a result of Macho Man's passion
Okay.
and his crazy rage and jealousy of trying to get his woman's honor back
Mm-hmm.
to her. So this was a really good match. There's a couple of things here where that stand out here. Mainly, Mr. Perfect doing his job as a manager. Here, he's not involved too much in the match, but he's involved in the match and he makes his presence known. And he does a great job. I mean, like, Ric Flair doesn't need anyone else talking for him. Like for other wrestlers, they may have like issues selling their character or hyping up a match and things like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't need it, but Mr. Perfect does a great job as number two and making Ric Flair look a little bit better
Right.
and helping him shine even more.
And you know who else was doing their job?
Mm.
Mr. Perfect's hair.
Oh my God.
Because it looked
Whoever
perfect.
his stylist was, it was perfect. That's why he's Mr. Perfect.
I mean, it really was. And that flip by Ric Flair, tossed flip Macho out of the ring was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Ric Flair was taking Macho to Suplex City.
Yeah.
Is that appropriate? That's the appropriate term.
I mean, it
Am I
is
close?
because he does hit some good standing suplexes on him.
Yeah.
Also, great job by Macho Man in selling that leg injury.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
Even after the match, he's still over there trying to get up and selling that injury from being in the figure four hold for about maybe 2 minutes.
And Ric Flair kicks him in his injured leg too.
Yeah. So this match ends after some interference from Mr. Perfect.
Right.
He's distracting the ref, and Macho Man's trying to cut him off.
Right.
During this whole fracas that the ref is distracted by, he throws the brass knucks to Ric Flair, and Ric Flair hits him with those. And you think that's over, but no.
Yeah.
Randy Macho Man Savage manages to kick out, and he ends up getting a roll up pin and win on Ric Flair only because of the help of him pulling on his tights to give him extra leverage.
That's true. And I mean, like you said, Flair with that small package, one that I'm excited to see. That was pretty cool. Like you said, great match. Definitely worth a rewatch. And the crowd went wild. And you all listening and watching will love this match. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah. Definitely also one of my favorite Macho Man matches and Ric Flair matches. Here at least in his era as a WWE performer.
Right.
Ric Flair does have other good matches, but on a WrestleMania it doesn't come until much later. So it'll be a while until we get to I think my most favorite match of Ric Flair's career.
Was this one?
No.
Oh,
the one that comes later on. So this one is definitely a favorite and one that you should check out if for some reason you have not done so and decide that you have 25 minutes to spare.
Right. Let's not forget Ric Flair giving Miss Elizabeth that smooch.
Oh yeah, and then
You naughty, naughty boy.
you gotta take it if it's there.
I mean, also Macho Man was fighting everyone in the ring. What a way to win a
Yeah,
match.
right. He's fighting everybody just to restore the honor to his woman.
What I don't recommend is winning a wrestling match and then fighting everybody in the match after
Right,
that.
the fracas afterwards, right? And then
Yeah.
Mr. Perfect getting those little cheap kicks.
Yeah.
Macho Man is down and being held by all the old guard of the WWE now or F back then.
Right. And like you said, his name, he was also known as the Nature Boy. And I read that he is considered to be one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. Do you think so?
Uh, yeah. I mean, he did have like his character. He lived the character.
Okay.
Everyone says, in order for you to get yourself over, that means like for the audience to accept you
Mm-hmm.
and for you to succeed
Right.
in the business, is that you need to believe what you're selling.
Mm. I mean, much like life, right? You got to
Mm-hmm.
believe what you're selling to make
And
it
Ric
work.
Flair did that and much, much more.
Wow.
He believed he was a flying or limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing son of a gun.
Wow.
And he stole a kiss from Mr. Elizabeth. Like, how else did you not believe that he?
I know. I was like, I can't believe that that happened. I actually heard a comment from him for 2023 news.
Okay.
So, if all of you who are definitely fans of wrestling, because you're watching this revisiting the Mania with us,
Mm-hmm.
where we revisit old WrestleManias, he actually commented on WWE releasing more talent.
Oh, okay. The recent purge that happened recently. Well, obviously recently. I just said that, but that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so just a shout out to the source WWE News, WWE Rumors and Spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
But he said he called Dolph Ziggler a man of unquestionable character.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I am a big fan of Dolph Ziggler. We saw him when we went to go see that live event in
Yeah.
Hammond. So you were a big fan of Dolph Ziggler, and when he managed to make it into the crowd
Mm-hmm.
or thrown into the crowd
I mean,
in
that
your
was awesome.
area.
That was really good.
So, I hope that Dolph is able to either continue holding his craft, if not in wrestling. I know that he does do stand up.
Oh,
So I hope that he continues to pursue what he feels is his talent in life and whatever makes him happy.
well, I'm so curious. I mean, I haven't heard his stand up before, so that's something I'm gonna have to look into.
But I've never heard of stand up either. But I follow him on Twitter or X, and sometimes he'll be like, "I'm doing stand up here," and blah blah blah. So
Wow. So with that, that takes us to match 6.
yeah, we have another WrestleMania debut, Tatanka versus Rick the Model Martel. Now, Maria, you are a great fan of Rick the Model
I
Martel.
am.
You are a fan for other reasons. I am a fan because of his ring psychology and the work that he does to get people over.
Okay.
So I know you are a fan of the indigenous and native people,
I am.
and Tatanka is one. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it, but he's a Lumbee or Lumbe from the Carolinas there.
Okay. Yeah.
So, who are you rooting for?
I am rooting for Tatanka in this match.
Ooh.
Like you said, my first introduction. And for those of you who do not know, Tatanka is another word for, well, is a word for bison.
In
So
whatever native language
I
they
believe it's
use.
Lakota.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tatanka is Lakota for big beast or buffalo,
Mhm.
and buffaloes roam the plains of North American prolific herds. Say prolific 3 times fast. Don't ask me what that.
Prolific.
Okay, you got it. Also his name is Chris Chavez, which I thought was interesting. So that's his
Yeah.
government name.
Yeah, not Chavez.
No, not to be confused with Chavez.
Chavis, I believe.
There was a really beautiful powwow in the beginning.
Yes.
In
I
the
don't
middle.
remember seeing that.
How old were you at that time?
I would say like either 10 or 11.
Wow.
So I mean, you're I wasn't like privileged to watch this at home.
Okay.
So I would have been at someone's house.
Hmm.
So either I might have been going to the bathroom or, catching a drink or, like I'm bored, let me just go off and do something. So
Yeah. So
but watching it now, I was like, oh, I do hope that this is something that was approved by the native people because if it's not and that Vince didn't get that approval, I'm certain that Tatanka was got the appropriate ones, but I just want to make sure that anything that we saw here was not done and offended any of the native or indigenous people of that area.
well, just a shout out to natives. I'm glad that we're talking about it because we have some favorite shows that we're watching.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that we've been watching and we're catching up with right now is
Reservation Dogs,
which
entering the third and final season. It's produced by Taika Waititi.
yeah,
It's on Hulu,
yes.
I believe, maybe cable on FX, but I don't have FX, so we
The
only watch it on Hulu.
the actors, the actresses, the story, the
Hmm.
storylines, I mean, are so deep. The characters are so good. If you have not watched this show, definitely watch it. Sad to hear that it's on its last and third season,
Hmm.
but it's been just a really great show and I love it.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
who are you rooting
I
for?
think on this one, I think I was still rooting for the model.
Wow. I mean, he looks like a Ken doll and poor taste in the comments he
Right.
made. F that. So,
Yeah, but I mean, he does what he's supposed to do. This is a new guy. Uh, Obviously, he does have like a little bit of the crowd behind him.
okay.
So the model's job is to obviously be the bad guy, be the heel,
Okay.
and make sure that the cloud at the end of the crowd at the end of the match loves Tatanka more,
Right.
so they can push him more and get him more, experience and get him on a little hype train.
Okay.
So this match goes for 4 minutes and 3 seconds.
33 seconds.
33 seconds. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was too short, but
Yeah, I thought it was too short too, but I think at this point in time, we're probably running a little bit long.
okay.
Not us in particular in this
You're
podcast,
like this also is running long.
but in particular, I guess the pay per view. Even though it's only 9 matches,
Okay. You're right. Is that the lowest amount of matches that we watched in these WWEs?
so far I believe this is
I feel like it
the
is.
WrestleMania. Unless you want to get like super technical with it,
Oh, okay.
and WrestleMania 2 because each of the venues had like 4 or 5 matches
Oh yeah, the
combined.
multi venues.
Yeah, but as a WrestleMania standalone, this is the first WrestleMania that has, and I believe the only WrestleMania that has fewer matches than is the standard.
Okay.
So Tatanka gets the win.
Yes.
Pretty much from the model wasting too much time
Right.
and just posing and doing his rudo work, being the bad guy and getting the crowd to hate him. Uh, and he ends up winning with a crossbody splash off the ropes.
Oof.
I don't believe that ends up being his finisher.
Mm.
I remember being like some type of like either some type of like chopping or scalping or
For
hammer motion
Tatanka?
for Tatanka. Yeah, but
Okay.
I mean I could be wrong.
Well, we'll find out and we'll add it in the comments.
Yeah. So Maria, what did you think?
Short match. Thought it was too short. Satisfied with the win.
Okay.
If you have the time to watch this match, definitely do. And with that, it takes us to match 7.
Yeah, the natural
Wait.
disasters.
Whoa, whoa,
Oh, what's
whoa,
happening?
whoa. Who are
Hey,
we seeing?
we're seeing Earthquake and Typhoon versus Money Inc.,
Woo, woo.
which has the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, teaming up with IRS.
I was gonna say Money Inc. Very different from Murder Inc.
Yeah. So, Maria,
Who I love. Or I love the music.
This is your first introduction to Typhoon.
That's right.
Now, did you know here that there's a wrestler that well, besides Typhoon, he's
Okay.
making his WrestleMania debut, but he is the only wrestler in this match making his WrestleMania debut. You
Okay.
may think that IRS
Yeah, I thought he
it
was.
was making his WrestleMania debut, but you have seen IRS before.
You told me. Who?
Yes, he was Mike Rotundo. He was not known as IRS before, but he was in WrestleMania 1 as part of the US Express with Barry Windham. So this is a reintroduction to Mr. Rotundo.
Okay.
I'm saying Rotunda because that's actually his name. We don't know why he went with Rotundo. But
my mouth wants to say it. Rotunda.
Rotundo. So at this point in time, we get IRS back teaming up with the $1 Million Man.
Okay.
I
mean, who are you rooting for?
I think at this point in time, I would have been rooting for Money Inc. Money Incorporated. Now, I got to give you some history here because Typhoon here originally did not debut as Typhoon.
Well, what?
He originally debuted as a wrestler named Tugboat.
What?
But we had not seen him here before on a WrestleMania.
What does that theme look like for a wrestler called Tugboat?
Let me show you if I could get the picture here.
I was like, does he wear a little captain's hat?
Oh my God, you nailed it.
I love it.
Yeah,
if you
so
do not know who this wrestler is, it's called
Typhoon now, but he was called Tugboat at the time when he debuted on WWF, now E.
I might have to print that up as a poster.
Yeah, he has a little sailor hat. He has a
little striped shirt.
A little stripe
with red stripes.
Tank.
Red and white stripes.
Yeah, like candy stripes, and I believe those were white pants.
And he's like, I am mad.
I don't know if he's saying that.
Oh, it looks like it.
It looks like it. So I remember Typhoon or Tugboat.
Yes.
At this point in time, but I remember the move he made to become Typhoon.
What was it?
He was a good guy, and he ends up betraying our Hulk Hogan. Yeah,
our Hulk Hogan.
Yes, our favorite wrestler at this point in time.
Your Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. Yeah. So that's what ends up happening here.
So, I mean, who are you rooting for? I'm rooting for the natural disasters in this match because I'm like, look at the hair on everyone on the wrestler. And let's remember the year is 1992. Typhoon's mullet is super red and super rad.
Rad, huh? Okay.
I'm bringing it back.
Yeah. So, you were cheering for
the natural disasters.
Yeah. So,
were you rooting for them too?
No, I was rooting for Money Inc. I told you that.
Shoot. Yeah. Sorry. Back quickly.
Right. I mean, I'm still a fan of the multi-million-dollar man.
Yes.
You know, still a fan of money. I'd like to. I'm like Adam Sandler in that movie, The Wedding Singer, where he's applying for a job. He's like, "Have you ever worked in money?" He's like, "No, but I love money. I want to have money, and that's where you come in." So
that was a good movie. Rewatched many times.
Yeah. So I was a fan of the $1 Million Man because he had money. I wanted money, and I wanted to be like the $1 Million Man. But
that makes sense, y'all. Okay. Ooh, so this match is, I can't say that it's my favorite, but it's worth a watch. So what do you think?
I think if you wanted to see the work of the $1 Million Man,
yes,
and IRS or Mike Rotunda, father of Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. But this has some good like psychology as far as like the heels, which Ted did a great job on. So at this point in time, that would probably be like the only thing. Like if you're a wrestler or a fan of heel wrestlers, because there are wrestling fans that just like They love the bad guy. They love to cheer for the bad guy.
Oh, I get it. Just like we have fans of like ICP or like metal or like
Yeah,
hardcore punk.
yeah,
There's a shoe for every foot, and that's all right.
yeah. So, you have to watch it because Ted DiBiase and IRS do a great job of getting like Earthquake and Typhoon, those crowd pops by they're being so evil and dastardly,
Hmm.
and they get the crowd cheering for them. But they also like do the I need to take a break, and at this point in time, Ted is actually calmed down and leaving the ring. He's not leaving the ring like every 30 seconds like he was like in the first couple of WrestleManias. So,
Okay.
but this match does not give us any type of satisfaction to the crowd because even though it is for the tag team championships, Typhoon and Earthquake will have to come and try back another day because Money Inc. says that the natural disasters are too much for them and they just walk off.
I think they're too much for anyone. Should we go?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So Money Inc. retains after a countout loss to the natural disasters because the title does not change hands
Yes.
when it's a countout. So
I still love Earthquake's finishing move. That stomp, stomp, stomp. Hey, it's basic but efficient. So
I mean, if you don't know that a tea bag is going to be coming near your face sometime soon after those tantrums, then
then you haven't watched him wrestle before.
I'm sorry.
So with that takes us to match 8, numero 8.
We get Owen Hart
Mm-hmm.
it's not making his WrestleMania debut.
Oh, yeah.
We have seen Owen Hart before, but you might not have recognized him.
Okay.
And I will tell you why.
Mm.
Owen Hart appeared as the Blue Blazer. Do you remember the Blue Blazer? Owen Hart was the Blue Blazer. So in WrestleMania 4, he debuted. And so this is his second WrestleMania, and he's facing Skinner.
Okay.
I don't remember this match.
Probably because it was 1 minute and 36 seconds.
Yes. So now you're seeing Owen Hart for the first time.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you that this does not end up being his ring gear for the remainder of his career.
Okay.
But seeing him now in whatever this ring gear is, and Skinner, who were you rooting for?
I mean, I love Owen Hart's wrestling gear.
Okay.
It was wild. I mean, we get to see some awesome moves in 1 minute and 36 seconds. And I mean, I would give it a watch. So
okay, but it's not your favorite. It's not a strong recommendation.
No, I mean, it's not my favorite. It's not on my recommends. What about you?
No, it's not. I mean, I'm not sure if it was just pressed for time because by the time this pay-per-view is like 2 hours and 41 seconds long.
Only? No.
Yeah. And by the time this ends, it's, I believe, there's 2 hours and it's at 2 hours 15 or 2 hours and 15 minutes. So at this point, if knowing the end, like it's 2:41, I'm like, if I didn't know that and I'm watching it for the first time,
right?
I'd be like, you're telling me that Sid Justice and Hulk Hogan are gonna wrestle for like 26-30 minutes? There's no way that's happening.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So it makes no sense for this match to go 1 minute 36 seconds.
Okay.
So the only thing I could think of is there was an injury,
right?
Either with Skinner or with Owen Hart or something, and they needed to call it.
That's why it was so short.
And that was or if it's a Vince idea that it was that they needed to cut the time.
Okay.
I feel bad for Owen because this is just like, he doesn't actually get to premiere at a WrestleMania as himself the first time.
Right.
He has to wear a luchador mask and come in as the Blue Blazer. And now this is his second WrestleMania. And he only gets to do, I mean, he probably gets a good paycheck because he's higher up on the card. He's almost near the main event.
Right.
But it's 1 minute and 36 seconds.
Wow.
So
So after this match, we get to see Harvey Whippleman with his glasses, pageboy cap, and you told me that that is the guy that was protecting Young Rock.
Yeah, when he's appeared. Harvey Whippleman has been around for a while. But you, since you're a new fan to wrestling, you Maria, um, you've only seen him in the show Young Rock, especially in the last season, I believe season 3,
Okay.
when the family's primarily like in Memphis.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so I mean, we see his character going around giving Young Rock, good advice, and it's like another show that was pretty good and that we really like watching. And it was really good to see him because it just made me like put those connections together. And those are just really sweet moments from Young Rock growing up. So it was cool to see him in the ring. So I mean, it felt like a full circle moment for me.
Yeah, I mean, like I think that's one of the good things that you're getting here.
Yeah.
Is not only from watching Young Rock, but like you're getting like to make even more personal connections with the people that come up.
Right.
Either through WrestleMania or from me having to fill you in and make those connections for you.
So with that, that takes us to.
Yeah, we still don't have effects.
No, okay. Little effects, the tiniest of effects. There we go. That takes us. Hope your ears are okay if you're listening or watching.
Yeah.
But that takes us to match 9, the main event.
Yes, the co-main event, but technically it's the main event.
I agree with you.
Hulk Hogan again versus Sid Justice, who has Harvey Whippleman in his corner. This is for no title. This is just because of a friendship that has fallen apart.
Well, I mean, let's not forget the tagline: "A friendship torn apart."
Oh, okay. I thought I had gotten that right. So this is because of a friendship torn apart. And the reason it's torn apart is because from what the video recap is telling us is that the president, Tom Tunney, made an announcement of who's going to be the number one contender for the World Championship after Ric Flair won it. Right. And it was on the table, or excuse me, not on the table, but seated in the next to Tom Tunney, who's making the announcement on the podium. We have Macho Man, Ted DiBiase, I believe, Sid Justice, and Hulk Hogan. And when Tom Tunney makes the announcement, it's Hulk Hogan. He's the number one contender. Surprise, surprise.
Shocker.
Yeah. So, of course, Sid has had enough. And they have a tag team. And during the tag team, Sid Justice ends up walking out.
Right.
We have a brief thing. I'm just doing the recap for people who might be joining us here of how this match happened. Brutus is there, and Maria, you hadn't seen Brutus in a while.
Beefcake, I have not.
And what did you think of the Beefcake's attire at this Saturday night main event tag team match?
It was a lot. I was like, I don't even know what to say about this. But I definitely recommend that you watch 9, the main event. It wasn't my favorite match, but still a solid match to watch. I'm rooting for Sid.
Okay, so you are what the banner says. You are tired of Hulk Hogan.
I am a little tired of Hulk Hogan. So right on time, little banner. And I mean, Sid's hair is something like I've never seen before. So
yeah, it was like
very curly,
a curly mullet, right?
It was super cool. So who are you rooting for?
I think in this one I was still with Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
But if you ask me now, yeah, I'm just tired.
You're tired of Hulk? Tired of Hogan?
Yeah, I mean, we have him here. This is, I believe, his 7th main event. The only one he missed was WrestleMania 4.
Okay.
And that's because that's when they had that tournament.
Right.
and the
So
Macho Man wins that title.
Sid's other monikers are Sid Justice, Sid Vicious, and
Mm-hmm.
Psycho Sid.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like isn't there a singer or a band out there that's
I don't
like
know.
Sid Vicious or something like that? I gotta look it up.
Yeah, I think you're Johnny Rotten, and I don't remember the name of the band. It's escaping me right now, but yeah. So this match goes for 12 minutes and 28 seconds.
Yes.
This match doesn't start off right away. When Hulk Hogan gets to the ring, he starts going to Sid, and he kicks him out the ring, and that's when we get Hogan celebrating kind of briefly his little brief victory over Sid Justice, and he rips off his shirt and he does his normal ear to the audience type of thing.
What is it? Like this?
Yeah, where he holds his ear up to the audience and he's like, I can't hear you. And then he points to them and he does that on every side of the ring. So
I do that at work, but just because I can't really hear that well. So
no.
I'm like, what did you say? Can't hear you.
Right. So knowing that Sid Justice loses here, Maria, how did you feel about this match? Were you happy?
I felt like it was okay. I mean, I felt like the match was ended as expected.
It ended in a disqualification.
Also, I mean, Sid looks like a villain from a Steven Seagal movie, which is pretty cool. I mean, much like us, he is a fan of baseball, which I found out. Did you know that he played softball for a couple of years?
No.
Yeah, so that was like one of those random facts about Sid.
Okay, that's good to know that he played softball. Like, it's a type of beer league.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. It just said that he played softball for a few years and that he was a fan of baseball, much like we're a fan of baseball.
Yeah,
so.
we love the baseball. So, with this one here, ends up ending in a DQ, but the ref caused the disqualification.
Right.
And I believe it's not because of Harvey Whippleman getting in the ring.
Okay.
What happens here is there's a wrestler named Papa Shango. Papa Shango does show up eventually,
right?
But he is supposed to create the disqualification. He's supposed to be the reason for the disqualification.
We also see the Ultimate too.
Yeah, the Ultimate Warrior finally arrives again. Yes. I guess he managed to reconcile with Vince, and he comes back to save Hulk Hogan. But yeah, I could not find the exact moment of when the referee calls a disqualification.
Okay.
But the reason that it's supposed to happen is because of the interference of Papa Shango. So this is one where
I mean, we also see the Ultimate pop in too, right?
Yeah, but that happens afterwards.
Okay.
So the disqualification is already like taking its place. And Papa Shango and Sid Justice are, kind of like wailing on Hulk Hogan.
Right.
So if the Ultimate Warrior comes in after, that has nothing to do with the match because the match is over.
So, would you recommend to our listeners?
No, I would not recommend anyone to watch this match.
Really? I mean, I think you're right. I agree with you because the other what do we call it? The co-match?
The other co-main event, Ric Flair versus Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that was the final event because that was a great match.
Yeah, and it goes for longer. It ran for double the time of this match.
Right.
And it kind of has that same type of storyline going. Except for this involves a friendship, not somebody's wife.
Oh, that's true.
But it's supposed to have like that, jealousy of your friend or a competitor here that's supposed to fuel this match.
Right.
Like give you the motivation for the match. And this one, maybe if it had been like someone attached to Hogan a little bit longer.
Okay.
But like Sid Justice, in our eyes, as far as this WrestleMania, he's only been in WWF now for less than a year. Because he wasn't even on the previous WrestleMania.
Wow.
If we're just going, I'm just saying, like, based on what your storyline or what your memory will be, because you're
watching. Yeah.
So I mean, would you have felt, or do you feel that Sid Justice should have had those feelings, like character wise or anything like that, thinking about Sid Justice. You didn't see him at WrestleMania 7. So I mean, like, do you feel like he should have had those feelings of resentment and everything towards Hulk Hogan?
Of course, I think everyone should always have feelings of resentment towards Hulk Hogan. I'm joking. I'm joking. Oh wow. I think Hulk Hogan probably gets a lot of heat from all the places.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, do we want to take a minute just to talk about our favorite matches? I'm
Yeah.
curious, what are your favorite matches?
My favorite matches, I believe I have 3.
Okay.
So my favorite matches are Shawn Michaels versus Tito Santana,
Great.
El Matador.
Okay.
Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
And the third match, which should have been the main event, Macho Man versus Ric Flair.
Are we twinning? Because my favorite matches are the first match with Shawn Michaels. Did you say that one?
Yes, I did.
With the sensational, as she always is. She was the sensational Sherry.
Yes.
And Tito Santana. So defeated Tito by pinfall. Match 3, Bret Hart defeated Roddy Piper by pinfall. That was a singles match for the WWF Intercontinental I can't say it.
Intercontinental
Championship.
Yes.
And then my third one was Randy Savage with the wonderful Miss Elizabeth. And he defeated Ric Flair. Woo! With Mr. Perfect by Windfall. So I feel like we're twinning.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and this is the first WrestleMania where I don't like a tag team match as a favorite match.
Yeah.
So I hope this isn't like the beginning of downhill match, of going downhill on tag team matches.
Okay. I mean, I guess we'll see, right?
Yeah, we'll have to see what WrestleMania brings us. WrestleMania 9, which takes place in Caesar's Palace.
Wow.
At this point in time, we will be wrapping up the podcast. Here, if you're listening to audio or if you want to listen to us on the audio version, I should be posting this tomorrow. Hopefully early.
If you haven't subscribed and you're listening and you like this and you want to hear and see more of this, subscribe so Carlos and I can bring you more of our opinions.
Yes, please review also if you're subscribed to our audio podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, Spreaker, Audible too. If you are a fan or if you have Facebook, please visit our Facebook page at Revisiting Mania. Review. I think you can review it there, and also our YouTube channel, Revisiting Mania. Subscribe. Click the bell for notifications so you know when we're going live. I believe here for WrestleMania 9, we are shooting to have a show on October the 1st.
Oh.
So
bringing in the month.
Yeah, if for some reason anything changes, if you signed up for our notifications on our Facebook page or our YouTube, you'll definitely get that information. Just like today, we did have some issues that we finally got resolved and we're able to come back a little bit later than anticipated.
Hope to see you in WrestleMania 9.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or comments that you would like us to further investigate on WrestleMania 9, or if you have anything that you need to correct me on because my memory is not as good and unfortunately sometimes I do miss some things while I'm reading. And
I feel like I have a 99.9% accuracy rate. So
no,
I'm joking.
If it's something that I need to address, please leave it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching and have a great night.
Have a good night.